If you're looking to increase range of motion of your ankle, your calf, sometimes even some knee issues might be related to this, foot pain, nerve stuff going on in the lower leg, we want to increase our dorsiflexion, which is the ability for us to make our toes go toward our shins with our heel flat. If you're trying to do that and you're only able to go 90 degrees or you already feel a calf stretch and you can't go that far, this is a series of movements to help increase that motion quickly. So we're gonna do 5 different exercises or stretches here. The first one is with a yoga block or something that I can stand on, a PVC pipe or PVC coupling, and I'm gonna stand on it, not on the ball of my foot like this, because I don't want it to be on the bones, not on the heel, because I don't want it to be on the bone, but right in the soft tissue of the foot. And for me, I particularly wanna stretch behind that little hard part there, right back there. So I'll roll my foot out and put almost all my body weight on it. I'm gonna use this stick for balance, and half my body weight is on the yoga block. If I can build up to more weight on my foot, I could actually take pressure off of the yoga block a bit, like up onto the ball of my foot, up onto just my toes, or I could completely take pressure off of it and build up to that. For most people who do this at first, it's really sensitive. I just hold that pressure, really focusing there for about 90 seconds. Then I get off of it and I walk around and kind of feel how that shifts. Oftentimes the foot will pop and click and move because the foot bones are going to reorganize themselves. Then I'll go back onto it and I'm going to roll on the soft tissues in front of that hard part now. So now it's more across the whole foot, right below the ball of the foot here. Okay, so on the soft tissues there, I want to spread these bones out. So now, same thing, I'm putting pressure, but this is more equal pressure across the whole foot, and really just allowing my toes to relax completely, letting my heel drop in the back. I'll probably already feel a little bit of a calf stretch, but these are very deep calf muscles that are working. And then I hold it for 90 seconds. I can come up onto the ball of this opposite foot. If I want more intensity, I can come up onto just the toes for balance, or I can lift that foot completely off and balance there, and you build up like a progression. So then you would roll off of it and then walk around again and feel a lot of mobilization in the foot. Now we're gonna go into a stretch for the toes of the foot, because the calf is not just, like range of motion for the ankle is not just the big calf muscle you see. It's also plantar fascia, the deep calf muscles, the large calf muscles, and eventually this series of movements is going to involve hamstrings, sacrotuberous ligament, even the posterior chain all the way up into the head. So to stretch the plantar fascia and some of the deep calf muscles, we're going to stretch the flexors of the toes. So what we'll do here is try to touch the toes at the tips and the ball of the foot to the wall. So I'm pressing like this. Then I'm going to try to slide the ball of the foot down as low as I can, and I only go as low as I can while the toes and the ball of the foot are touching. If the ball of the foot comes off like this, then I have to come back up and only go to the point where I can feel a stretch in my foot and the ball of the foot and the toes are touching. And once I get to that bottom end, I would hold for 90 seconds. So for me, I can go to about here, and I only want to feel a slight stretch. It's not a very intense, crazy stretch, because we're going to hold it for 90 seconds. And so those tissues at first are kind of like putty, where if you hold a stick of putty like this, nothing happens at first, but eventually it starts to go, and then it really goes. It's viscoelasticity, and that's how our ligaments work too. We just hold for a long period of time. So then you'll get off of that after 90 seconds and walk around again and really spread the toes and kind of move the foot. Then you'll come back over, and this time we're going to do the same thing. Spread the toes first as much as you can, and then you're going to go down about 80% of what you were able to do. So I was able to go this far down. So this time I'm only going to go about 80%, and then I'm going to bend my knee forward, aiming for my third toe. Okay, so I'm going to try to make my knee go right at that third toe. I'm going to breathe deep so my whole spine is elongated, my core is stable, and I'm pushing into the toes, the ball of the foot, my heel, and now I'm moving that knee toward that third toe. If my knee touches the wall like it did there, that means I didn't go down far enough with the toes. So I'll go down further with the toes, and then I'll move that knee forward to there. Then I'll go down further into there. And now it's already loosening up quite a bit. So now I'm starting to gain mobility in the flexor tendons of my toes, that flexor digitorum all the way up into the low calf. We'll do that for 90 seconds and then we'll walk around again and start to loosen it up. Then you'll come back and now we're gonna go calf specific, but before we stretch the calf, we're gonna go foam roll the calf. So I'm gonna use the same PVC pipe that I used for my plantar fascia earlier. So as I put pressure here, I'll show you the skin so that you can see the subtleties. So from here, some of the things I see is people put their arms way back too far and it's not good for their shoulders. They'll put it too far forward and they'll round their back a lot and it's not good. So you find where can you put your hands where your shoulders are strong, your spine is long, and now you're in a position where you can be stable here so you can focus on the subtle movements of the calf. When foam rolling, a lot of people, all they'll do is push down and just push straight down and then roll back and forth. We're not trying to just beat the muscles to pulp. We're trying to get the tissues to slide better on each other. And so what I want you to do is think about the calf in like a midline in the back and then an inside of the calf. You can also do outside of the calf, like the outer layer here, but the most important or the most return that we're gonna get for the ankle is gonna be on the medial side, right along the tibial crest, and then the actual, where the Achilles comes up right in the middle of the calf. So we'll put the calf on and start outside, and then you'll watch me turn the calf as if I'm trying to like bring the muscle around. So as I'm going, I will turn my calf, then I will compress it. So I've added a rotational component to it, which forces the tissues of the skin, the subcutaneous layer, the adipose layer, the myofascial layer, all these layers have to work to slide, they glide, and that lubrication allows movement to happen more freely. So now I will use my opposite leg to compress down. If I want more intensity, I can just rest my foot on the floor and use that as another stabilizing peg. I can go back and forth like this. What I want you to do is start from the middle of the calf and work to the top, and then back to the middle, back to the top, back to the middle. Then you go from the bottom to the middle. So I'm not going from the bottom all the way to the top, because you can see how much I have to move to accomplish that, and then it's not as effective. So go 7 to 10 times from the middle, get that twist involved. You can compress if you want, big breath to lift with the shoulders, and then roll up to the top, and then back down to the middle. Then up to the top, back down to the middle. Then I'm gonna go to the inside of the calf. So again, I'm gonna twist from here and turn my leg and then target that tissue. So now I'm trying to take it from the front toward the back, pulling it around. And that twisting motion now causes the friction to change. I'm gonna cross my leg for a little more intensity. Big breath in, and then go from the middle to the top, just down to the middle, back to the top. So you do that 7 to 10 times. Then I'm gonna go from the bottom with a little twist, up to the middle, and then down to the bottom, up to the middle, down to the bottom, 5 to 7 times. If you have to take a break in between because your wrists get sore, because your shoulders get tired, that's totally fine. So once I do 5 to 7 in the middle, from the middle to the top, on the medial side, from the middle to the top, on the middle, that midline, from the middle to the bottom, and on the medial side, from the middle to the bottom, back and forth, now I can go actually stretch these tissues. So now to stretch them, like I mentioned earlier, there's a deep calf and then there's a superficial calf. So we're gonna stretch each of these first. We'll start with the deep calf. So this is actually a bent knee calf stretch. So you can still be in that traditional calf stretch like this, where most people would just push against a wall and not think about it too much. We're gonna bring the leg slightly closer than it would be typically. The most important thing for me with this is alignment. So I want your heel to be on the floor. I want some pressure to be on the outside ball of the foot and the inside ball of the foot. And then I want the knee to go as much over the third toe as possible. That is the design of the foot and ankle and knee. If someone has altered biomechanics, maybe they have a bunion now and things are twisting a lot, just go 10% outside of your comfort zone in the direction of alignment toward that third toe with that tripod pressure. Once you have that, now hands can come onto the wall, heel stays down, the knee bends until you feel a little bit of a stretch in that deep calf down at the bottom, and then you're gonna squeeze that left glute or the glute on the same leg as that foot. Big breath into your spine, so your spine is elongated, lots of core stability, because you're not working just alignment of the foot and the ankle. It's how the foot and the ankle align with the entire body. That's where you want to increase mobility and get more skills working with it. Now I'm going to put my hands on the wall, and I'm going to start to apply pressure to my hands while I'm applying pressure to my heel. And my body's going to have to self-organize. The more I elongate my side bodies, exhale and stabilize my core, and push heel and hands, and just increase that pressure. Lots of exhaling and inhaling from the belly, elongating every time. More and more pressure builds. You feel a deeper and deeper, more intense stretch in that lower calf. Hold it for about 90 seconds. My breaths there were probably 3 seconds in and 4 seconds out. That's a 7-second breath. So you can do basically 10 to 11 or 12 breaths, and that would be the hold. Then you walk it out again. Then I'm going to come back and do my straight calf stretch. This is where I'll move the table out a little bit. So now I'm going to be in a longer stride as if I was going to go run, and I want that heel to still be on the floor. I want the tripod pressure, so it's my heel, outside, inside ball of the foot. And now a really important piece of this is most people will tilt their hips forward, because the hip flexor in the front spirals through the inside of the leg and becomes part of the deep calf muscles, my tibialis posterior, popliteus, adductor group, all the way up into the psoas. So to get a really deep calf stretch, I need to tuck my hips under. It doesn't have to be under posterior, but from anterior to neutral. Once I have a neutral hip, then I squeeze that glute to drive that hip forward and engage that entire deep front line. Then my hands are here. I breathe into the abs and the side body. So pressure, length, all the way to the top. Push into my heel. Think about my back foot being turned toward my front foot. So I'm not stretching out like this in the back, but I'm turned in. Tripod pressure, neutralize the pelvis, squeeze the glute, breathe the spine, and then press into the hands and the heel. And the more pressure I can build between the heel and my hands, while I also feel the stretch in my calf and this hip, then I'm mobilizing the entire chain. This is the chain that I use to run and walk and live my life. Lots of breath. Exhaling while I hold all that space. And I would do that for 9, 10, 12 breaths or a 90-second timer, and then I walk it out again. When you do this series, the PVC, and then you stretch the foot and the toes, and then you foam roll the calves, and then you do the straight and the bent leg calf stretch, you're mobilizing the soft tissues and you're stretching in alignment, so it aligns and tunes the body, allows the brain to start to use repetitions and movement to keep that change. I hope you have questions. Let's learn how to do this better and better, and then I'll follow up with another series soon. Cheers.